Hello, welcome back here to Lady Lovestead Reads. My name is Jessica and this is what I plan to tentatively read in July 2025. I hope you're all doing well. I am admittedly behind on uploading videos because life happens. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. I read books that typically fall into one of two categories. On the one hand, I like books that are like uplifting, light, cozy, whimsical. On the other hand, I tend to read some really dark and twisted stories. Because I do read some dark and twisted stories, please check your trigger warnings before picking up any of the books that I talk about. I don't share triggers in my videos because I think that they're spoilery. But if you have any concerns, I recommend checking triggers on the app Storygraph. I have a lot of books to talk to you about here, and this is more a pile of possibilities than it is a firm TBR because it's a lot, and I'm behind on some of my Trilogy-along stuff and things like that. So we're just gonna make the most of it and see what I can get through and let the rest go because it's just not that serious, right? This isn't a competition. All right, first, I do have a Discord. Technically I have a Patreon, but the Patreon's just a tip jar and you can access all the things we do through my Discord. And the Discord's called the Lovestead. Links are below to everything. And we're doing a Trilogy-along where we read one book a month with a break in between trilogies. And right now we are making our way through the Frostheart trilogy by Jamie Littler. So in May we read Frostheart. In June, Escape from Aurora. And here in July we should read, or are planning to read, Rise of the World Eater. This is a middle grade fantasy set in a polar world. And it's about Ash, who is a song weaver, which is a special power where you can control these monsters in the world called Leviathan. And he goes on like this adventure with his Yeti guardian on a Pathfinder sleigh, which is similar to like a merchant ship in our world. And it's super fun. I loved the first book. Now, I didn't get to this. I read about that much in June before I set it down temporarily. I love it. I really enjoyed the part that I read, but my mental health was kind of in the crapper in June, and so when that happens I have to mood read. I would like to say I am for sure going to pick this up this month, but I don't know. It's another month where I'm going to have to mood read because reading according to my mood really helps with my mental health when I'm struggling. But it's on the list of possibilities of things I want to get to. With these read-alongs and buddy reads, it really is kind of a go at your own pace thing. I set specific dates for us to read them together, but I keep the chat channels up on my Discord for a whole year. So like if you can't get to it in the month, that's no big deal. You know, join the conversation when you can. And so I have learned this year to practice what I preach and do that myself. So I think some folks might be saving this even for like a winter month since it's set in like a polar world, which that sounds great too. It'll be a great winter read. So, I mean, this is on my pile of possibilities. We'll just have to see. Every month I pull a book from my bookshelf for us to read, and I rotate between the dark and the cozy. And odd-numbered months are the darker stories. So with July being an odd-numbered month, the book that I pulled is The Ingenue by Rachel Kapaelke Dale. Rachel Kapaelke Dale wrote The Ballerinas, which was one of my favorite books in, I believe, 2023. And this one is about a piano player, and she gets an inheritance. Well, she's expecting an inheritance that actually ends up going to someone else, and so she's like really shocked by that. And it's supposed to have like a gothic atmosphere. It says the ingenue delves into the bonds of family, the limits of talent, the risks of ambition, and the rewards of revenge. So that is the buddy read for the month. Another one on my pile of possibilities. Carryovers from June. I just have one carryover from June that'll probably finish tonight, if not tomorrow, and it is Victorian Psycho by Virginia Feito. This was published this year, and it is an adult horror, and it's exactly what the title suggests. So it's the psychopath governess in the Victorian era, and all the terrible things she gets up to. It's a pretty short read, and so far I'm enjoying it, and we'll finish it soon. I have a buddy read that I'm doing with my friend Amy. I don't remember how we decided to do this buddy read, just through one of our conversations we were like, yeah, let's buddy read that together. And it's Amy from Amy Harbored in Pages. We are reading Gone with the Wind, the classic by Margaret Mitchell. And this edition is from 1973. I love it. I love a 1970s vibe. And this is set in the American Civil War. I think most people know what this story is about, probably have seen the movie. It's one of those stories that's like so ubiquitous, like we just know what it's about. I've never read the book before, I have seen the movie. And I think we're going to watch the movie after we read the book. This is probably going to take me a while. Like, let's see, how many pages is this edition? 1,024 pages, and it's tiny, tiny print. It's a long book. I think on audio, I'm listening to the audio version. My audio version is like, I believe 44 hours long. It's a long book. I might not finish it this month, but that's what I'm currently listening to on audio. In Amy's Discord, she is also hosting a read-along of the Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne, which is an adult high fantasy series. I read Malice in June with the group, and then this month we're getting into book 2, which is Valour. I don't have that one. I'm trying to see if I can get it through the library. And whenever I do get my hands on it, I will read that one, which is also another big chunky book. So that might take me a while as well. All right, and then last here, I have some books checked out from the library. This one I checked out last month, but I renewed it because it was a new release that I want to get to. And this is The Paris Express by Emma Donohughe. This, I believe, is set in 1895. Yep. And it sounds like it's a story where a bunch of folks are on this train and their stories like interweave in some interesting fashion. Emma Donoghue's an Irish writer, and she's written the book Room, which was really popular and I believe adapted into a film. And then the one that I really like by her is called Hood, which was like a sapphic literary fiction. So this one I carried over from my library checkouts from last month. And then this month from the library, I checked out the next 2 installments in the Black Butler manga series by Yana Taboso. And this is about a butler who is more than he seems. His charge is like a young kid who's an orphan who runs a company, but is also more than he seems. I've read the first 2 volumes and am enjoying it so far. Next is another manga called Alice in Borderland, and this one sounds really interesting. I'll just read you the back. It says, "School sucks, his love life is a joke, and his future feels like impending doom. As he struggles to exist in an allergy attack, one moment. All right, try again. As he struggles to exist in a world that can't be bothered with him, Ryohei feels like everything would be better if he were anywhere else. When a strange fireworks show transports him and his friends to a parallel world, Ryohei thinks all his wishes have come true. But this new world isn't an empty paradise, it's a vicious game. And the only way to survive is to play." We've got the 4th of July coming up here in a couple of days. Big Boom Fireworks, a book where fireworks takes you into another universe. I might read this. So every 4th of July, I basically hunker down in my basement with my animals because my animals hate the fireworks, as is natural for them. Like, what animal would like fireworks, you know? So I take them all to the basement where it stays fairly quiet and dark and cool and helps them just stay calm. So while we hunker down in the basement on the 4th of July, I think I might read this. Next, The Lamb by Lucy Rose. So I had a pretty mediocre reading month in June. The vast majority of what I read were about 3 stars. And the ones that I gave higher than 3 stars were like unhinged literary fiction. So I'm leaning into that here in July, since that seems to be fitting the mood that I'm in. And this is definitely an unhinged literary fiction / horror. And it is, so like Margot and Mama have lived in the forest ever since Margot can remember. When Margot's not at school, they spend quiet days together in their cottage, waiting for strangers to knock on their door. Strays, Mama calls them. People who have strayed too far from the road. Mama loves the strays. She feeds them wine, keeps them warm. Then she satisfies her burning appetite by picking apart their bodies. I've heard wonderful things about this from folks who love unhinged literary horror. So there's that one. And then I keep checking out Throne of Glass every single month. This time I got the OG cover copy because I keep telling myself I'm gonna read it and then I don't, but I have it again. Next, this was in a new releases video, I believe in May. And it is Disappoint Me by Nicola Dinan. And it says this one is 30 years old with a lifetime of dysphoria rattling around in her head. Max is plagued by deep dissatisfaction. So it's about depression. Like, highly relatable, I'm sure. So this one might be really cathartic for me to read right now. And then the last one I got from the library is Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. This is a literary horror rewrite of the classic gothic fiction Carmilla. So I would like to read Carmilla before I read this one. Carmilla is fairly short. I might not end up getting to this if I don't get to Carmilla, because you know, you're gonna understand and have a better appreciation of a rewrite if you've read the original. So we'll see. Some other things going on at my Discord is Saturday, July the 5th. I believe. No, that's incorrect. It's Saturday, July the 26th. We will be doing Saturday sprints in the Discord, and those start usually around noon Central Standard Time, which is Chicago time. And I usually stay online hosting sprints until late into the evening, usually between like 11 and midnight is when we stop. It's a really no pressure way to participate in sprints. You can read or do whatever you want. It's honestly just a way for us to hang out virtually. So it's a fun time. Join us if you want to do that. And then I've got my summer 24 and 48 hour readathon, which I think I need a new name for this. So if you have ideas, but it's started out as a way to read for 24 hours within a 48-hour time span, and there's a little bingo board, but people are really making it their own, which I love, and doing it in a lot of different ways. And what I did with the last one was I just set a timer and I tried to read for 24 hours within the month. And I think that's what I'm doing again this month, because it's hard for me to find a 48-hour span where all I do is read. So I'm going to do the timer method again, but other people will do like pick 48 hours within the month of July and try to read for 24 within those 48 hours. Some people will try to do like 24 hours all at once where they stay up all night long and read. That's another option. So really you make it your own. But the bingo board this year for the summer one is to read any book. That's always on the bingo card for these. And do a cozy activity, which is also always on the bingo card for these. The other one is to drink a cold drink, any kind of drink that feels summery to you. And then the last one is to try something new, whether it is like a new author, a new series, or it could have nothing to do with books. Maybe you try a new restaurant, you visit a new shop in town, you go to a different park you've never been to. Just try something new. So those are my reading plans for the month of July 2025. Are you going to join in reading any of these? Have you read any of the books that I've talked about, and did you enjoy them? And what are you most excited to read or looking forward to in the month of July? If you just want to leave me an emoji to let me know that you're here, leave me the vampire emoji. And until next time, make sure that you continue to read good books, drink good coffee, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.